Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the SMA GT500 Championship. I'm your SMA host, Sean Madden, aka Flawed, Genius Gaming on Twitch, and presenting to you Week 5 and the last round of the 2008 Group 2 Series. It was Levitius who won last week at Interlagos to become the first driver this season to record 2 race victories and move himself up to the top of the championship. Round 4, however, was full of surprises. It was marred with quite a few incidents where penalties were dished out to many drivers. More on that in a few moments, as it's time to reintroduce our legendary Scotsman back in the building with that amazing voice of his, providing all his famous quotes and fantastic commentary. I'm delighted to have him back alongside me for the foreseeable future in this season's GT500 Championship. It is our resident YouTuber and podcaster, Hugh Hattrick. Good evening to you, Hugh, and how have you been?
Good evening, Sean, and good evening to our viewers. I've been very well indeed. I've been keeping up with what's happened in the last week for the races that I wasn't on last week when John was commentating, and it's been fantastic to see all the competitive behaviour, all the drivers doing their best. And we are here at Fuji, a legendary track, so very much looking forward to this race. I'm sure it's going to be very exciting and great to watch.
Awesome to hear. Yes. You've spoilt the surprise there, Hugh, but we will go on to the race details shortly, because it is important to... and let me get that up there. It's important to shout out our sponsors for this season, as without them, none of these races would be possible. So SMA is sponsored by Simulator Cave, the haven for all your high-end sim goodies, your number one place for all your sim racing requirements, whether it's wheels like Fanatec or Moser, to racing cockpits, you're actually looking for. Simulator Cave has it all under one roof with a 5% discount for any SMA drivers involved in this season's GT500 Championship. Unsure on what you might want? Go and book yourself a shop tour to test out these products. They even have a repair centre for any issues you may have encountered on your existing equipment. So please click on the links below. It's in the description below, or you can check out the SMA Discord for all the information, and definitely go on their website, simulatorcave.com, for all these deals. We're also sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing talented golfing students to reach their full potential. And we're also proudly associated with MSA Motorsport South Africa, partnered by the FIA, the only place for official leagues for South Africa. And speaking of MSA, there is a huge opportunity for those competing in SMA to register for your e-license at a very affordable price. It is to be involved in future FIA licensed events, including the upcoming MSA Cup tournament starting in May, with many regional and international championships coming in the near future. I can't emphasise enough what an honour and privilege it will be for the drivers to compete at the highest level and earn your green jackets, providing that full recognition representing your country. So make sure you don't pass up this opportunity, as these don't come along very often. You're in a very, very fortunate position to be involved in such a prestigious organisation with Motorsport South Africa to acquire this pro licence at pretty much next to nothing in price. So for more details, please do look back at last week's broadcast. Right at the start, we had Stephen Koenig, the head honcho of MSA, and he went through... all the details. He went through everything associated with MSA, whether it's sim racing to real life sport as well. And like I say, please get yourselves involved, because this is pretty much a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, I would say it's even bigger than the GTWS, because even that's not FIA approved anymore. So but if you've got any questions, please do head over to the SMA Discord, have a word with Robin. I know that he's put in some hard work to get this tournament and this pro license started. So definitely go and speak to Robin, ask him all the questions and queries, and hopefully we'll see you on the roster for the MSA Cup Championship in a couple of months. So I guess it's time to find out what's in store for round 5 tonight. Hugh's just mentioned the circuit, but if you haven't already known what he said, then Hugh, can you run us through the race details for tonight, please?
And there should be a spoiler alert when I speak here on YouTube. Today is round 5 of our 12-week season in the SMA GT 500 Championship. It's the final race in the 2008 Group 2 series, and just 2 rounds left to register your position in the top tier. And we're in Japan, home to the Super GTs at Fuji International Speedway Grand Prix layout. So that means we've got the full chicane. It's not the short version. It's very, very tricky, very, very fast. And lots of fun. It is exactly 4.57 kilometers long, with 16 corners, and of course located in the mountains in Japan. I think in fact there's a volcano, isn't it? It's an old volcano. It's an amazing setting. It's got an incredible historical value as well. Some epic races have been here in lots of different formulas, and today we're going to have a 10-minute qualifying session followed by the race, which is 33 laps. And the tyres, we have all the tyres available, but the hards are mandatory. And I think especially with the tyre wear, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone uses anything softer than the hard. Now, we have for this round, there will be, let's see, there's also a false start check enabled, so that will be crucial to make sure that nobody gets a false start. It's going to be very exciting, and it's getting more and more professional as we go on, making it harder and harder for drivers to get any kind of advantage. It's all going to have to be in how they drive. So we've got tyre wear at 5 and also fuel consumption at a rate of 4. So again, it's going to be tricky. There's going to have to be pit stops, but we're going to look forward to that. And we've got the Nissan Nismo GTR. We've got the Lexus SC430 and the Honda NSX. Now, seemingly the Honda NSX may well be the meta car here today, but we will see how that pans out. And this will be the last time that the 2008 manufacturer cars will be used this season, with Fuji bringing a different dimension to the cars. The Honda is seen to be the strongest, with the fastest speed down the straight and turn 16, the pit wall straight leading to the first turn of the lap, but the Nissan GTR will be at its strongest, especially in the twisty turns of Sector 3, which is crucial to the lap. The Lexus will always be the in-between car, providing the best balance overall. It's going to be a fascinating race in the last showdown for these cars. So Sean, how did the racers fare in the last round at Interlagos?
Good question, Hugh. So, on to the story of round 4 at Interlagos. It was Levitius returning to winning ways with an emphatic victory to claim his second win of the season, ahead of TNR teammate Deacon with a brilliant fight back to claim second position and keep up his 100% record on finishing on the podium this season. After VSR's JDJ was handed a one-place grid penalty for an infringement in the race, VSR Richard was promoted onto the podium with a third position ahead of said driver JDJ moving down to 4th. It was TNR's Captain Slow marked a dream start to life in the top tier with an excellent performance to come home in 6th position. However, Papaya Race's 2-place grid penalty has now made him promote up into P5. Hard to get my words out there, Jesus. Hoping to repeat the feat once again with Papaya Racer demoted to 6th position. Producing his best performance of the season was Puma's Neil, coming home in 7th position, with VSR Wolfie and MGR Kennels swapping positions due to a one-place grid penalty handed down for Kennels to finish in 8th and 9th respectively. This is followed by a top 10 finish for Puma Mac, and surviving by the skin of his teeth was VSR Galara, securing 11th and the last place to stay in Tier 1 for this week. Dropping down to Tier 2 is MGR Dutchman and both TNR drivers Latari and Supercams. With just 2 rounds remaining in this phase of the competition, they'll be hoping they can find a way to qualify back to the top tier. As in steps in returning drivers of TNR's Whipperman, VSR's Vars Vartavis after their elimination from Tier 1 in round 3. And we also welcome back Puma Joker. With his last appearance back in the first round, has become the 3rd driver to record back-to-back promotions from Tier 3. Quite evidently inspired from Captain Not So Slow and Dutchman from the previous round, he'll be looking to secure his stay before the tier lockdown at the end of round 6. So, how does this affect the standings after 4 rounds? Well, it's Levitius who's back on top of the championship, just 2 points ahead of his TNR rival Deacon in 2nd position, continuing that ding-dong battle we've come to expect from the pair this season. Then moving up to 3rd position is VSR JDJ, who is just 2 points ahead of teammate Richard, and TNR Papaya Racer tied for 4th on 1,554 points. Then it's VSR Wolfie howling his way to 6th with a teammate Galara in 7th, and Puma Racing Neil up into 8th position. Then it's returning Tier 1 driver VSR Vars Vartavis in 9th, 2 points ahead of Puma's Mac in 10th, who is just 2 points in front of Tier 2 race winner TNR Whipperman in 11th, with Tier 2 drivers of TNR's Latari and Supercams for 12th and 13th, and MGR D-Man to round up the top 14 of the SMA GT500 Championship after 4 rounds. Over to you, Hugh.
Well, I have to say, Sean, congratulations on getting all of those surnames right, or the names for the PSNs, because they were very tricky indeed. But there are some great drivers who are in the top tier tonight, and they really well deserved. I mean, many of them getting promotions and really showing how fast they are and how consistent they are. And it's going to be really exciting to see how they fare at Fuji, a track which is so different to anything else. Lots of, the long straights, the tight hairpins, and in these cars they've got so much downforce. It's going to be very close, very competitive. It's great, and in the cars they can throw them around. They've got plenty of grip. Although those racing hard tyres might not allow them to do that quite so much. But I think we'll be interesting to see what strategies come about, whether they use the medium tyres as well, or whether they just stick to the hard tyre, as that is the mandatory tyre. But yes, very exciting. Really looking forward to seeing how the drivers perform tonight. And of course, because this is the last time they'll be using the 2008 cars, and next week we have a very special round indeed. And welcome as well again to all the viewers watching. It's great to have you with us. Let us know who you're supporting, who you think is going to win, and what your views are on the championship fight as we get into the rounds and as we get well into this amazing championship with South Africa's top drivers showing us exactly what they can do. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Hugh. Yes, it's definitely going to be interesting in strategies, of course. All tyre compounds are available. However, with the tyre wear at ×5, it's more than likely that they're going to be using the hards and the medium tyres. There is also fuel consumption at ×4, which also means that there could be a bit of fuel saving on board as well. But good news for the drivers, though, it's going to be dry out there, or according to the weatherman at least anyways, even though it does look a little bit dark and dreary out there. But yeah, I think it's always music to the ears of the drivers when they know that it's going to be dry conditions. But yeah, welcome everyone in chat. And yeah, Kennels, of course, he is racing today, looking to secure his Tier 1 position come the end of the race. We've got, is it Freak Schaefer, is it? Welcome, and Robin as well. Good evening to you, Robin. best of luck to you, of course, Puma's Joker, who secured back-to-back promotions from Tier 3 to be in today's race in Tier 1. So with 2 rounds remaining, we will see if Robin can secure his Tier 1 position once the tiers are locked down after round 6. But yeah, good to see everyone, and let us know who you're supporting today, whether it's a certain team. Where obviously we've got 3 teams on, in fact we've got 4 teams on show, because we've got Puma, who we're looking at now, Puma Racing Deal. We've got TNR with Levitius and Deacon and Papaya Racer. We've also got was it MGR boys? We've got MGR Kennels, and we have got is that all the teams? I can't remember now. We're trying to get through on board. I think we're a couple of drivers down at the moment, so with 5 minutes remaining until qualifying starts, maybe just trying to get a late connection in. Yeah, I can't seem to find Deacon.
Hello.
Oh, there's Deacon.
He's in.
Oh,
right,
he's
there. He is in there. Yeah,
right.
I think we're full. The server is full.
But, okay. All right. My apologies. Okay.
And can I make a remark here? I've just noticed as we look through the server that all the drivers here are A-rated, and many of them are A+. In fact, the top 4 that are listed here just now, from Levitius, Deacon, Captain Slow, and VSR, JDJ, are A++, Wolfie as well. So that shows that they're in the top tier of Gran Turismo. So it's great to have so many A+ drivers and A-rated drivers here tonight competing, because that really shows we've got some great drivers, and they are able to be very consistent and really competitive, and it makes for an enthralling race, and I'm looking forward to that tonight.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we've got some extremely talented drivers out there, and you know, it's become quite clear as well, because of course we've got the promotion and relegation system for the first 6 rounds of this season's GT500 Championship. Of course, this is round 5, so we've already seen a lot of drivers kind of get promoted into Tier 1 and then not survive a race, basically, or not surviving more than one race and moving themselves down to Tier 2. So it really shows you the highly competitive nature of all the drivers featured in Tier 1. But I have to say a big congratulations to Captain Not So Slow, otherwise known as Pegasus in the last round, because not only is he on controller, but he got back-to-back promotions from Tier 3 a few rounds ago. And basically he managed to secure a very commendable P6, which was then promoted up to P5 because of the penalties. So really holding his own in Tier 1, and he'll be looking to do the same for Team TNR. With 2 rounds remaining, he'll be wanting to secure his Tier 1 place when we come to round 7. And of course, a lot of what Hugh was mentioned, what he mentioned earlier, where we've got the special event next round. Now, we don't have the details for round 6. It's all going to be on a roulette, basically. I'm not exactly sure when that is going to take place, but I would imagine any time between now and you know, the end of the week or something. But it is a random circuit and a random car, and this is going to decide all 6 tiers across SMA. So it's going to be very exciting, and really can't wait to see what happens. But of course, we are definitely going to lose 3 drivers this evening. So yeah, it's going to be very competitive out there, Hugh, and yeah, I can't really call it at this stage. But just before I come to you, Hugh, just got to say good evening to Dajaga. Or it might be Jaeger. I reckon it's Jaeger, but let me know
Jaeger.
if we.
Yeah, I think it's probably Jaeger.
Yeah. Which sounds, but it sounds good to me. I always love a Jaeger. So, but yeah, good luck to you, Jaeger, and everyone in VSR. Go JDJ. Of course, JDJ may be looking good in today's race. But yeah, good luck to all the drivers in this race, and quali is going to start very, very shortly. But Hugh, have you got any tips or any driver that you might think, okay, I fancy his chances?
I think Levitius is very, very strong. But going back to Captain Slow, to be doing this race on the controller is very impressive, because they always say that tyre wear is much harder to control if you use a controller. But clearly Captain Slow has managed to really get his head around that and prove to be extremely competitive and very, very fast. But it'll be very interesting to see how he can do here tonight. But all the drivers, I mean, they really are performing extremely well. The Hondas, we know that they're supposed to be the meta car, but will that actually happen? Because we've got Levitius in the Nissan GTR, and he's at the top of the table. And of course, there's nothing in it in terms of points, just a few points covering the top drivers. So this is really kind of getting to the top of the hill as we progress in the championship. And I'm looking forward to this race, because these cars are so fast and just so much fun. I think it's going to be spectacular tonight. And of course, we have nice, dry, sunny weather. So I'm sure nothing can possibly go wrong. It'll be straightforward, I'm sure.
Nothing's ever straightforward, you know this, Hugh. But but yeah, definitely very good conditions for the drivers, and if they're gonna pull everything out the bag, it's going to be now, because they're on the soft tyres. It's going to feel very, very nice on them soft tyres, but of course the tyre wear is going to be at ×5, so them tyres are going to die very, very quickly. So I do imagine they're going to do an out lap, do one flying lap, and then go back into the pits, not fuel, and so they'll have less fuel and then go on fresh tyres. But we're going to get on board with Gallara then, because he's at the front of the grid then, and he is in the Honda now. The Honda is predicted to do well here, which I know the Honda is a very tricky car to drive, but with that superior top speed and with a couple of long straights and fast sectors, particularly sector 1 and sector 2, I do expect that the Honda will be very, very competitive. Maybe sector 3 will be its downfall, and that's where the Nissan GTR may come into play, and of course the Lexus as well. But it'll be good to see what kind of time Gallara can set on this banker lap, as he looks very, very tidy through sector 1. And of course, you can abuse the curbs on the outside at 100R as we come up to the Dunlop hairpin for the very first time. And yeah, as tidy as it can be. So again, this is where I was mentioning about sector 3 then. It's very twisty. It's going to be very hard on the tyres for sure, and the driving lines are going to be very, very important, but very, very tidy through nets. And then as we come up to the Panasonic corner for the last turn of his lap, you can abuse the curb again, making sure that the right-hand tyres don't cross the white line. And as he approaches the start-finish line, he sets a 1:31.8. I do expect quite a number of the drivers to go quicker, including Wolfie, who goes onto pole position with a 1:31.3. Kennel's only good enough for P3 at the moment. Anyone else? We've got Neil coming across the line now. VSR Richards just set a 1:31.4. Pure Racing Neil 1:31.9. And Deacon into the pit, so Deacon with a lot less fuel there, 49% of fuel. That's quite interesting, as Papaya Racer comes across the line in P2, just 5/100th of a second down on VSR Wolfie with a 1:31.356. But some good banker laps coming in thick and fast here, Hugh, at the moment.
Yes, and because they don't have much time, it's really a very, very quick session, less than 10 minutes now. We're already well into it, so to see them very, very close. I mean, there are the top 10 are only covered by 6/10 of a second, with Gallara currently in 10th. But it's very, very close. We've just seen Levitius go through with a 1:31.208. So it's getting quicker and quicker all the time, and they've literally got a few laps to get it round, because it's quite a long lap here, isn't it? 1:31 is roughly 1:31.2. So it's not that many laps, so you've got to get it right. You've got to get a good banker to start with, and then try and get quicker and quicker. but it's really exciting to see them go so quickly around these corners and get the braking right for these crucial hairpins. It's just great to watch, and let's see if it gets even closer than just 6/10 from 1st to 10th.
Yes, indeed. It looks like a lot of the drivers are coming into the pit lane now to change them tyres. You can see that we're halfway into this 10-minute qualifying session, and them tyres are dying very, very quickly. So a lot of the drivers are going back into the pit lane. Papaya Racer, though, deciding to stay out. So we'll see if he can gain time as he just comes across the line, nearly a 10th up on his previous best to stay in second position with a 1:31.270. So just 6/100th of a second down on Levitius, as Levitius actually sets another purple lap, and the first driver to set a time beneath the 1:31s, so a 1:30.9. But it does seem like the wind direction is affecting quite a number of the drivers out there, because I was expecting 1:30s in qualifying, which Levitius has set, but I was probably more expecting the more sort of low to sort of mid 1:30s. But you know, they've still got 4 minutes to go, so anything can happen in the dying embers of qualifying. But just to go through the grid at the moment, so we have got Wolfie, who is currently just 4/10 down on Levitius with a 1:31.3. Then we've got VSR JDJ 4.5 down on Levitius in P4, Richard in P5, so half a second down. Kennels just over half a second down in P6. So the times are very, very close, with Captain Slow in P7, 7/10 down. Vartavis 7.5 down in P8. So we are literally talking wow, 12 drivers within a second of pole position. So very, very good. But Deacon at the moment hasn't set a lap time, it looks like. Currently in P14, but he's on a hot lap now. So we'll see if Deacon can light up the boards here as he comes across the start-finish line to go into P2 with a 1:31.0. So he does light up the leaderboards, and just over a 10th down on his fellow teammate Levitius, who is setting the pace right now, as Levitius will now start his lap. Is Captain Slow on a lap? No, he's just starting one now. So it looks like this may well be one of the final opportunities to get a lap in. We've got 2.5 minutes left of qualifying, so yeah, I think there's only a 30-second countdown after the 10 minutes are counted down. So I think it may just be one lap, possibly 2 laps for a couple of the drivers, but yeah, not a lot of time to go though, Hugh.
Yeah, it's very, very close indeed. And I'm just looking at those times. I mean, to have it's only a second covering, just the top 13, which is really very, very close indeed. And we've got this false start. We've got the grid start with a false start check. So all that could change. All that hard work. It may pay off or it may not pay off. It all depends how good they're started as well. And we're coming into this big hairpin at the first corner hairpin. It could all go well or it could all go wrong. It's going to be 14 cars all trying to fight for position as they come into the race. It's going to be very exciting, and it just shows you how fast these drivers are, to be so close, literally tenths of a second in it as they go down the field. And we are getting to witness, I'm sure, what will be a spectacular race, because these cars, they're driving them absolutely flat out. Look at the way that they take the curves and even a bit more. They know exactly how to use all the track. And they're giving us a great presentation of professional driving, and I'm really looking forward to this as the lights go out at Fuji today. I'm sure we're going to witness a spectacular race.
Yes, indeed. We've had a few movers and shakers in the grid. It looks like Deacon is satisfied with his P2 though. So Levitius is pushing for a final lap, but it might be good enough. Who knows? I mean, it is still very tight. Papaya Racer will be his nearest, or I don't think he will be his nearest rival as he goes wide out of, I think it's 100 hours, isn't it? So Well, it might be 300R. I always get mixed up with the R's. But anyways, we've got Wolfie then, I think, is the nearest driver to come across the start-finish line, as Galara does go quicker in the top 10, I do believe. Wolfie, though, currently P4. Can he go better? Yes, he can, but only by 1/100th of a second. Remains in P4. Then we got Vars Vartavis then, currently P5 at the moment, as Neil goes quicker to get a 1:31.6. And Vars, I don't think he's going to improve, no. So he remains in P5. JDJ, Whipperman, it looks like he's gone quicker. He's gone up into P9. It's very, very tight between the grid, I have to say. So I think that is it for qualifying. And yeah, Papaya Racer didn't go quicker on his final lap there, but good enough for third position. So yeah, fantastic to see how close it is, and hopefully that will translate into the race. But we'll quickly run you down the qualifying results then. So Levitius earns pole position with a 1:30.913 ahead of Deacon in P2 with a 1:31.0. Then we got Papaya Racer in P3 with a 1:31.270. It's very tight between him and Wolfie in P4, just 25 1,000th of a second down on Papaya Racer. Then we got Vars Vartavis with a 1:31.36, and his teammate JDJ with a 1:31.38. So again, very, very tight. And then 7/1,000th of a second separating JDJ and Richard for P6 and P7. So Jesus, that is so close, with Captain Slow of TNR with a 1:31.4. Then we've got TNR's Whipperman with a 1:31.5 in P9. Top 10 position for Kennels with a 1:31.566. P11 goes to Puma Racing Neil with a 1:31.650. P12 goes to Galara with a 1:31.727. Very close between him and Puma Racing Mac in P13. Just 3/100th of a second separating the two drivers, with Puma the Joker at the back of the grid with a 1:32.0. But a long race to go though, and anything can happen in this 33 lap race we have here at Fuji International Speedway. Of course, round 5 in this SMA GT7 GT500 Championship. Because that's not easy to say.
You did very well. It's saying final race settings, we've got a rolling start on here.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah. So yeah, so maybe they've changed that at the last wee minute. We'll have to see. But according to the final race settings,
if that is the setting, if that's what it says, then it must well be then. Yeah, okay. Well, just looking at that qualifying session then, it looks like Levitius is looking rather dominant again. I say dominant, he's leading by 1/10 of a second in qualifying, so it is close. But Levitius and Deacon once again in the top 2 positions, kind of reflective in the driver standings as well. With Papaya Racer actually in P3, so it is a team TNR 1, 2 and 3 in qualifying, so not to try and rub it in with the VSR drivers, but of course they've definitely got their hands full, that's for sure, Hugh.
Yes, well, we're looking forward to this. We're just about to start, and here we go. Get ready for a spectacular race here at Fuji. Ready to get going.
Yeah, is it gonna let me join? There we go. Right. But yeah, you are right. It is a rolling start then, Hugh. So yeah, no, not too much to speak of then. I would imagine it will be line astern for all the drivers then as we go into turn 1 then. So it's going to be Levitius and Deacon on the front row with Papaya Racer and Wolfie on the second row, Vars Vartavis on the third row with JDJ, as we got 5 lights, and away we go for round 5 of the SMA GT500 Championship at Fuji International Speedway. We've got Levitius leading the drivers into turn 1 with Deacon just behind in P2, Papaya Racer in P3, Wolfie in P4, JDJ in P5 with Vars Vartavis up his chuff in P6. We've got Richard in P7, Captain Slow in P8. There is a huge show in the cars actually. Kennels and Whipperman are going to be side by side, but Whipperman tucks back in to remain in P10 with Puma Racing Neil in P11, Galara in P12, Puma Racing Mac in P13, and Puma the Joker at the back of the pack in P14. So it is how it is at the moment as we go into turn number 6 for the one of the R's. I think it's 100R as we approach Dunlop Curve, and yeah, I don't envisage any changes in the grid at the moment, so the drivers are definitely behaving themselves. But I heard an ooh and an ah from Hugh.
I think Kennels just went through because I saw someone trying to get through just on the at the hairpin there, but it looks like Kennels is in 9th, followed by Puma Racing in 10th, and then Whipperman in 11th. But yes, it's very, very close. I think it was just he was coming out to look as if he was going to go for it, but I think he has actually reclaimed that position or stayed in the same order back in 9th. But it looked like he was going to be the first person to try and make a big move as they about to complete lap 1.
Okay, let's get on board with some of the drivers. Yes, we've got Papaya Racer and JDJ side by side. Who's going to come out on top? The Honda looks like it's very fast down the straight. He's got the inside line as well of Papaya Racer as he sweeps his way into 3rd position with VSR Wolfie putting Papaya Racer under all types of pressure as we enter into turn number 3 then. But Papaya Racer is going to slot into P number 4 with Wolfie firmly behind him. Let's have a quick look. Oh no, I've just literally missed the replay there. My apologies there, guys, but a great move from JDJ Hugh.
It was fantastic, and it's really showing that the pressure is on. It's a big train of cars, but oh, and it looks as if Papaya Racer went very, very wide, and he's being chased again by Wolfie, and is coming right behind him as they come round the right-hander and into the first of the very tight hairpins. But at the moment it's still clockwork, but any mistake is going to be costly here because they've got that rolling start as well. They've not had any advantage to try and pick up a position, so they've got to do it now. So if it one by one, we'll have to see where they can try and overtake, try and see what their options are, see where their strong points are and where the weak points are of their competitors. And now they're coming through the final corners here with Papaya Racer in 4th place, and you can hear the screeching of the tyres as they come into the final corner, and Wolfie's got a great run there in the slipstream. 4th and 5th, it's as close as that. Can Wolfie try and make a move as they complete lap 2 of 33?
Well, we've also got JDJ as well up the inside. Oh, he tried to go up the inside of Deacon, but a late move from Deacon to sweep in front of JDJ as he had to be a little bit more cautious there, and Deacon will stay in front, but Wolfie looks like he's made the move on Papaya Racer, so let's get a replay of that.
And all the meantime, Levitius is in 1st place, but let's see exactly how that move happens.
Yeah, quite an easy move from Wolfie in the end, I think, as Papaya Racer had to settle for tucking in to P5, but a long way to go, as I said, and actually there might be quite a number of strategies in play at the moment. It looks like quite a lot of the drivers are on the racing hard tyres. Oh, we got a side by side between JDJ and Deacon again as JDJ looks to hound down Deacon, and Deacon going very wide on the exit of the hairpin there. JDJ though unfortunately not the optimal line as we go through the corner. He's got the outside line, he's still got the outside line as we go through nets. And he goes a little bit wide as well, which is not going to help his cause, and perhaps give him slightly dirty tyres as well as we come out of the last corner at the Panasonic corner. But JDJ is going to be in prime position here as he's got that slipstream, and of course the Honda being very fast in a straight line as well. Deacon is going to have to cover all bases here if he's going to remain in second position. But what that does mean is that Levicius is starting to pull away then with all the squabbling behind. So it's 1.3 seconds the gap between Levicius in the race lead to Deacon, with JDJ just behind him in the P3. Wolfie still hanging on to his fourth position, with Fartavis actually in front of Papaya Racer. So he might have made that move down the straight, and Papaya Racer is sinking like a ship at the moment. It's lost 3 positions so far in this race, and yeah, it does look like most of the drivers are on the hard tyres. Captain Slow looks like he's moved himself up into P7 with VSR Richard down into P8 then, with Neil just behind the pack in P9, and yeah, it looks like it's a tale of two halves here, because we've got a pack for the mid-pack, that is, and then we've got the pack trying to survive in Tier 1 for today. It looks like Whipperman just went up the inside of the Mac, was it? Or was he already in front? Let's have a quick look at the replay. Whipperman, I think, was just in front of him anyways, and he was actually Mac looking to put him under all types of pressure there, but Whipperman covered off that position, so remains in P12. But of course P12, 13 and 14 will get relegated into Tier 2 after today's proceedings. So Kennels at the moment holding off Whipperman to have that last place in Tier 1, but it is certainly very, very close between them drivers, and I expect it to be very close. Oh, go on.
Oh, they're battling second and third. They're battling. VSR has just gone through. Deegan is back down into third place, but there's virtually nothing in it. They had a great battle along the straight there, and VSR JDG has just managed to take second place from Deacon, and it looks like Deacon's going to have to kind of take a lap or two to try and get back into it, because he's lost a bit of ground to the second place driver, but that was incredibly close, and Deacon is now down to third, but VSR JDG is up into second place.
Yeah, just seen the replay there, so he took full advantage of the extra speed down the straight there. Oh, I see Papaya Racer and Vartavis now fighting it out. I did actually miss what happened there. I just saw it in the corner of my eye, but it looks like he did make it stick before we got into the infield section. So Papaya Racer up into P5 now. Vartavis down into P6. He's got a half a second penalty as well for cutting track limits, so that is definitely not going to help his cause, as Captain Slow not too far behind, and Richard not too far behind Captain Slow as well, so he may lose 2 positions as he serves that penalty, which is a really harsh penalty zone as well, because it is down the straight, and it's in the flat out section. So I do imagine that Captain Slow will propel himself up to P6 with Richard up into P7. Oh, it's going to be tight. But I think Richards has just got it, because he's in the slipstream, and then Neil is also in the slipstream. So actually he's lost 3 positions there, although, oh, Richard up the inside of Captain Slow. Made a very late move on the inside. Oh, was there contact? It looked like Captain Slow went a little bit wide, and you don't want to be on that AstroTurf because it's very, very slippery on the outside of the circuit. But yeah, it was a late move on the inside from Richard to propel himself up into P6. Yeah, I think it was just very close, but it looked like Racing Neil as well took full advantage as well. So he moved up a position, and it was 2 for 1 then in one corner. Captain Slow losing 2 positions then. Yeah, this is so exciting, Hugh, but I don't know where to look because there is action all over the grid.
I have to say that's the first time I've seen a penalty being taken by a driver on one of the races, which shows how accurate they've been. But it's a very wide track, but if you get pulled off by going on too much curb, then you'll get a track limit penalty, as we've seen there, and that was a very costly penalty, just half a second, but it's cost him about 2 to 3 places, which is he's going to be having to work very, very hard to get that back. But as you say, there's battles right. Oh, carry on.
Oh, Levitius under pressure from JDJ then. So it's something I've just noticed then. JDJ's on the medium tyres. Levitius is on the hard tyres. Levitius is going to show him the outside line though. JDJ's got the overspeed. Is he going to make the move before we get to turn 1? I think he does actually. But Levitius is going to get later on the brakes though. And still have that inside line. JDJ's got the better grip, but that's a fantastic defensive move from Levitius to hold off JDJ for the race lead, although JDJ's trying to switcheroo here. And that's a fair wall. There's a little bit of door banging there. Levitius going to have the inside line for 100R, but it looks like JDJ, because he's got the inside line now, he's going to take that spot away from Levitius and eventually makes the move stick and moves up into the race lead ahead of Levitius. Now you do expect JDJ to have that superior grip at this stage of the race, but Levitius, of course, you know, a fantastic driver, of course, you know, leading the championship as well. He is not going to give up without a fight, and well, it's quite interesting, Hugh, because of course the hard tyres probably about a second a lap slower, but as the medium tyres die, then the hard tyres come back into play. So we'll see what the gap is between JDJ and Levitius. Oh, as JDJ goes a little bit wide there, Levitius looked to sling one up the inside of the final corner. But yeah, fortunate they didn't come to blows, as I struggled to get my words out there. But Levitius has got that slipstream now, so we're going to remain aboard with Levitius, and that slipstream is pulling him along. Is JDJ going to... Oh, there was a bit of weaving actually, and quite surprised that JDJ went back to the outside there, because Levitius took full advantage, and he's back into the race lead, Hugh.
Yeah, it's quite something, isn't it? There's quite a lot of door banging, but so far nothing has really affected them. But their tyre wear levels are quite similar, even though one's on the medium and one's on the hard tyre. There's not a huge amount of kind of wear difference in it so far, and it's fantastic how close they are. They're right at it, right the way through, but the only issue is they've not got a lot of fuel left. I'm looking at VSR JDG, and he's got less than a quarter of a tank of fuel, so it won't be long before they'll have to come into the pits. But what a battle this is coming, as they're absolutely at it. There goes VSR JDG, trying to go through on the right, but Levitius holds the left-hander. Oh, and he's gone wide, and he's trying to collect it again, and VSR retakes the lead, and now has a half a second advantage as they come to the third sector. But Levitius he's done a very good job of collecting that car, and he seems to be much quicker in that third section, and he's really closing up again. He's holding it, and at the moment VSR JDG has just retaken the lead, although there's a very scrappy exit onto the start-finish straight, and it means that Levitius is less than 7/10 behind. Now that Nissan will be in the slipstream. Can they get closer? Will they be able to try and do another move? They've got the top three. Deacon's not far away either. He's catching it. As long as these guys battle, then Deacon is able to keep right up with them. They come into turn 1. The Honda leading, the Nissan second, and there they go. Deacon is in third place, but VSR is just managing to hold. It says 4/10 and coming down. Levitius is catching in the corners as he goes through first the left-hander, then the long right-hander, which is very tricky, and if you back off at the wrong place, your car will run wide, but he's holding it well together into the tight left-hander. Look how much curve they use on the left, and look how much curve they use on the right, all the way in a bit more, and in fact Dean goes very wide there, but doesn't seem to slow him down at all, and he comes round the corner, so it's still VSR leading from Levitius. But what a battle is this turning out to be, Sean?
Indeed, and we still got another battle as well for P4. Wolfie currently holds that position, but just 3 tenths ahead of Papaya Racer in P5. Then we got Puma Racing Neil having the time of his life at the moment, currently in P6, but he's on the medium tyres. So Papaya Racer actually on the hards, Wolfie on the hards. So you do expect Neil to actually be pushing at this stage of the race with the superior grip. Then there is a bit of a gap to Captain Slow, and then there's another train of cars between Captain Slow, Richard, Galara, and Puma Racing Matt not too far behind as well in P10. But we will go back on board with the race leaders as Levitius dives into the pits then with his teammate Deacon in P2 and 3 with not much fuel left. JDJ decides to go one further then, who now has a 5-second gap. It does look like a lot of the hard runners are coming into the pits now. So Levitius, Deacon, Papaya Racer, Captain Slow, Galara, Kennels, Whipperman, all in the pits to change off them hard tyres and I suspect onto the medium tyres. So it does mean that we have a top 5 of JDJ, Wolfie, Puma Racing Neil, Richard and Puma Racing Mac. And yeah, just seeing Levitius getting released onto the circuit, then he comes out on the medium tyres. So it does look like most of the drivers coming out on mediums, I think. Yeah, I would imagine so. Let's get back on board then with VSR Wolfie, because he is just in front of Puma Racing Neil as he looks to push through, and I think he's made it stick actually. And there's Puma Racing Neil on the inside at Dunlop then, and moves up into P2 ahead of Wolfie in P3. But I think both of them will be coming into the pits very shortly because the emergency fuel light is flashing. So unless they do some absolute crazy fuel saving, it is more than likely that the drivers that stayed out will be coming in very, very shortly. So we'll keep an eye on Levitius then, because we want to see whether or not Levitius has gained any time on this outlap to JDJ, but it's certainly going to be close as JDJ does come into the pits from the race lead with just 3% of fuel. It'll be interesting to see if he goes onto the hard tyres or goes for another stint on the medium tyres, but this is certainly going to be interesting now as Levitius comes around the final corner now to end lap 10 onto lap 11 of 33. Where is Neil stayed out. What the hell? Okay, so Neil stayed out, Mac has stayed out. There's JDJ. It looks like JDJ is going to come out in provisionally P4, but Levitius looks like has developed a bit of a gap to JDJ. I think he may have put in less fuel than JDJ, and in fact he does, because JDJ has nearly a full tank of fuel to Levitius, where he's got just under 3/4 of a tank. So yeah, slight difference in strategy there. Deacon is just behind actually, provisionally in P5 on the medium tyres with 3/4 of a tank as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy and how this is going to develop throughout the race here, Hugh. But yeah, it looks like JDJ just choosing or maybe tinkering a little bit differently to the other drivers around him.
Yes, I mean, and looking at the tyre wear as well, there wasn't a huge amount in it between the racing hard and the medium, certainly between Levitius and JDG. I mean, they were virtually similar, and look how competitive the racing was there. Now, Puma Racing Neo has just come into the pits, and he had a 7.3 second advantage. He had 3 left on his fuel, and he's on the medium tyre at the moment, so I wonder if he'll see if he'll change all of that, or will he remain on the mediums. Now, they've just done a third of the lap distance, so how much fuel and how long is that fuel going to last them? Will they get to the end of the race, or will they have to do a splash and dash and then try a different tyre as well? But Levitius now inherits the lead and goes back into first place. Then it's VSR JDG in second, and then Deacon in third. And so now, as we see, as the first pit stops have been done, Levitius has a 3.4 second lead over VSR JDG, but something tells me that's not going to last very long. And I'm sure as VSR in second place, he's on the medium tyre again, and he's got a decent amount of fuel, but that should certainly, he'll be looking to try and get back up with Levitius as quickly as possible. And Deacon is just 3/10 behind him, so now we have this battle for second place. And we can see that Deacon is pushing and pushing all the way, taking a bit of curb and grass and pretty much everything he can to cut that corner as fine, to hold his racing line. As he comes down to the right-hander, there is just 4/10 in it between second and third, and Papaya Racer is in fourth, and Prima Racing Neo is in fifth. So a fantastic performance by Prima Racing Neo, really, as you see, having the time of his life as they come round to the third sector here, the Nissan being stronger than the Honda, and you can see he's all over the back of VSR JDG coming into the final sector. Now they don't want to battle too much because it's going to allow Levitius to pull away. He's already had 6/10 in this lap alone, so they want to try and catch up with him rather than battle away, but it does make it very exciting for us. There's still 4/10 of a second. Do you think there can be another overtake done by the end of the straight, Sean?
Well, I think there's quite a few battles going on at the moment. I don't think Deacon is going to send one down the inside all day. He's getting rather close to JDJ as he pulls to the inside to defend, but I do feel like JDJ has got his car stopped on the sixpence. Does give him just about enough space on the outside Deacon as he went slightly wide there, but yeah, there is quite a number of positions being fought throughout the grid though, as I was looking on board with the maps here. So we have got Captain Slow ahead of quite a big train of cars then, ahead of Wolfie just behind in P9 with Vars Vartavis in P10, and then there's a little bit of a gap with Mac in P11, Joker moving up into P12 with Whipperman coming into the pit lane already. Oh, he had damage, so I wonder what happened in the background there. So Whipperman taking damage and getting that repaired. So Whipperman's at the back of the grid then ahead of Kennels, who... What's happened to Kennels? Kennels is stopped. Why is Kennels stopped? Is he just allowed Whipperman through? Was there a coming together between the two drivers? Oh God, okay.
Looking at that.
It may well have been the case there. It was good sportsmanship from Kennels. If something did happen though, I do imagine that the race stewards will intervene anyways, but it's very, very good sportsmanship nevertheless from Kennels. But I'm just clutching at straws here as we've got Deacon now putting JDJ under all types of pressure then, who is... not even a car length away as JDJ will force him to the outside then. Deacon will be bravely trying to take that position on the outside, but it seems like JDJ with great defence there. No way for Deacon to get past there, and unfortunately will remain in P3 with now Papaya Racer closing that gap, currently in P4, just half a second down. So the more they squabble, the more that Levitius will be pulling away, because the gap now is 5.2 seconds from VSR JDJ, and extending as well. So yeah, look how close it is between JDJ and Deacon, and Papaya Racer now coming into the fight then. Deacon really wants to get his way past JDJ, but JDJ just sticking to his gun, sticking on the inside line and giving nowhere for Deacon to go. So that is frustrating Deacon right now with Papaya Racer, his teammate, firmly in the fight as Deacon tries one up the inside. And of course that is going to be the outside line for Nets. And there was a slight bit of contact actually as Deacon moves down into P4. So let's have a quick look on board of the replay and then see exactly what happened here, because I couldn't quite see from that angle. But as Deacon didn't really give him the space, and then JDJ, it almost looked like he retaliated there and pushed Deacon out wide. Very difficult to see from that angle, but that's how it looks as JDJ and Papaya Racer go side by side down the straight, but JDJ's going to have that inside line and should be able to hold off Papaya Racer, who's going to try one around the outside. Deacon comes into play again, who is side by side with Papaya Racer, who moves up into P3 now. He fancies the challenge to try and take on JDJ. And I think Deacon's made it stick there and moves up into P2. Wow, what a fantastic roll of events there. Let's have a quick look at the replay there as, I mean, this is absolutely crazy, Hugh.
Fantastic. They've got to have a go, isn't it? You've got to try. You've got to see if you can get your nose in front, and certainly that's what Deacon has done. And now he pulls away slightly in second place, but we've got VSR JDG in third and Papaya Racer right behind. This is what happened.
Oh, more contact.
Happened.
More contact.
It looks like Papaya Racer and Deacon had contact there. Deacon is down into fourth place, Papaya's up into third. And as they come round the right-hander, there's nothing in it between them. It's could have also been server issues perhaps, but as they come round into the left-hander, JDG is
Yeah, I think JDJ was a little bit too late on the brakes. Absolutely sent it at Dunlop there, and it looks like there's no love lost between JDJ and Deacon as they were fighting for P2 with Papaya Racer in the mix as well. So it's certainly got a little bit rowdy out there on circuit, and the drivers may need to calm down a little bit because the stewards will be watching this, and the penalties will be dished out. So yeah, definitely have to try to. Yeah, I know. I was just about to mention it. So yeah, JDJ fights off Papaya Racer for the time being. Papaya Racer showing the outside line, but it's going to be the inside line for turn number 4, and a do-4 just about gets in front of Papaya Racer, slightly cut his nose off actually, but JDJ holds on to that second position ahead of Papaya Racer with Deacon just behind him. VSR Richard now pulled into the fight, and this is what I was saying about the squabbling. It's losing them time, and Levitius is now looking a lot more comfortable as Papaya Racer gets a half a second penalty for cutting track limits, so he's going to lose out here in the process. JDJ is going to breathe a little bit better after or learning that Papaya Race has got that half a second penalty, so he may let Deacon through, but of course VSR Richard not too far behind in P5 as well, so he's going to have to keep an eye on his mirrors and try to let Deacon through strategically, so he doesn't lose out, or should I say Papaya Racer doesn't lose out too much on the straight, and Deacon also being a little bit vulnerable to VSR Richards being in that slipstream. So Papaya Racer takes that penalty. Deacon promoted to P3, Richard up into P4. There's Papaya Racer in the slipstream in P5, but I think he's going to remain in P5. So JDJ should just about hold off Deacon to remain in P2 with VSR Richard. Well, if there's any slip-ups from the drivers in front, he'll be there to sweep up and take full advantage. So, yeah, we definitely need to keep an eye on this one. For those that are watching, if you are absolutely loving this race, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, as we do chase down 150 subscribers. But please, you know, to help out with the YouTube algorithm, hit that like button if you've not already done that. And really promote SMA, which I have to say, Hugh, is one of the best leagues I've ever witnessed, particularly in these GT500 cars.
Oh yeah, and the professionalism, the way that the cars are racing. I mean, look how close it is between second and third. They're virtually touching, kind of right behind each other, but my goodness, it's incredibly close. They're using all the advantage that they can, and VSR, he's not been able to calm down at all, has he? He's had constant pressure from behind for a good number of laps, and it's, I mean, look at that, second, third, fourth and fifth. There's only probably half a second to a second in it. It's brilliant to see these cars racing so close, and as we see, Deacon is in the slipstream. Is he going to come out at the end of the straight? Now they go side by side all the way along the straight. Here they come past the past the grid as they go through into coming up to turn 1, and we've got VSR holding his line in third, but Deacon trying to go through on the outside, and they come round, and VSR is just managing to stay in front. He's got the inside, well, he's got the outside line, but now Deacon is on the inside, coming into the left-hander. He goes up into second. Can he hold it there? They're side by side as they go through the left-hander, and then the VSR JDG continues. Oh no, he's dropped into third. Deacon has managed to go round the outside, but will he be able to hold it as they come into the next hairpin? And it's Deacon. Oh, it's so close.
Contact between the two teammates. Oh, JDJ spins, and around he goes. And he's going to lose many positions there. Let's have a look on the replay, see exactly what happened. But it was close and frantic between the 4 drivers there. And then JDJ looks like he got on the slippery stuff on the outside of the circuit. Oh, he hit the marbles, but actually, yeah, he's down into 10th position now. So a costly error, I have to say. I think it was a driver error there on JDJ's behalf. And yeah, that is massively costing for him, but luckily no damage, and just damaged pride more than anything, I think. But let's get back on board with the top three then, because Deacon is still involved in quite an intense battle then. The gap is 6 tenths between himself and teammate Papaya Racer in P3. VSR Richard is just 6 tenths behind in P4 as well. But yeah, it's such a shame though to see JDJ spin, because we absolutely adore racing like this. Very difficult to call what exactly is going to happen. And we heard an okay, so we've got another fight going on between Captain Slow and Galara, as he holds off Galara to hold on to P5. But Galara, it's not going to make it easy, but he sweeps in front of Captain Slow then. Looked like Galara was not in a good position really on the outside. That's very brave from Galara, and very trusting from Captain Slow as well to give him the space. But of course he has got pressure now from VSR Wolfie just behind him in P7, and Vars Vartavis in P8 as well. So we can't rest on our laurels here, Hugh. This is so intense wherever you look up and down the grid. And we've got a train of about 6 cars battling it out for P number 5. But Galara has the advantage at the moment, but actually could be a sitting duck as we approach the start-finish line, because of course we got that long straight and there is 5 cars battling it out. Lucky he's in the Honda, but yeah, I would imagine Captain Slow should be in a good position here, because he's just 2 tenths down, a couple of car lengths away. And surely if he uses that slipstream to his advantage, may get the overspeed to make the move before we get into turn 1. But there's a slight bit of contact. I don't think he meant to clip the rear side of Galara, but still got the overspeed and goes into P5. Galara down to P6. Captain Slow with a wiggle, and he loses 2 positions there, as he it does really well to keep control of the car, but that has lost him 2, maybe 3 positions, Hugh?
Yes, he lost at least 2 positions, and he just got a bit of a wiggle coming out of the corner there, and you can see now that Vars Vartavis is right behind him. It's so close. Look at that, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. In fact, the whole stream of cars right the way through, there's nothing in it. And we've got, of course, faster cars coming up from behind as well. VSR JDG setting the fastest lap with a 131.928. That was set a wee bit earlier in the race, but look at that right the way through. There's a range of Hondas.
It's Wolfie through. I think. I thought he got through there. My apologies, DQ. But I thought he slipped one down the inside there as Wolfie tries to hold on for Captain Slow and Vars Vartavis as well, who went side by side through nets. But oh my God, I can't believe how intense this race is, Hugh. You got to love it. And I think that the drivers may well be coming into the pits very shortly, as the flashing red light on the fuel is flashing now. So maybe one more lap, but yeah, we just come across the line to start lap number 21 of 33. It is it's gone so quickly, Hugh, but I've loved every single minute of this. And so Captain Slow holds off Vars Vartavis then to remain in P7. Vars Vartavis will tuck into P8, but of course
it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, what? Did Captain Slow let him through? I don't understand what happened there. But Vars Vartavis then moves up into P7. Captain Slow, P8. JDJ just behind, so starting to make inroads up the grid then. Who is looking down the inside? We did show a nose down the inside of of Captain Slow there, but decided to pull out for the time being. But we've got Vars Vartavis and Captain Slow side by side. Who's going to come out on top? I think Vars Vartavis on the inside will come out on top with Captain Slow. Well, not only trying to make the move, but also checking his mirrors as well, because JDJ wants to plough his way through the grid and perhaps a little bit frustrated with how his race has gone so far. But I do think that a lot of the drive, there might have been a bit of sideways from Vars Vartavis, because Captain Slow's got the inside line to move up into P7, but Vars Vartavis is going to have we're on the last corner there. So Captain Slow moves up into P7. Vars Vartavis in P8, but I think they're all diving into the pits now, Hugh. Oh, not? Okay.
Some of them are staying out. But my goodness, I think it's fantastic having these high tyre wear and high fuel wear because it's meaning we just don't know what's going to happen next as they come into the pits and see what are they going to stay on those mediums because there's nothing in it between them. We've got battles right the way through the field. I mean, those racing medium tyres, as I'm looking at Captain Slow, were absolutely finished and he's now filling up his car. How much does he need to finish this race? They've done roughly coming up to 2/3 distance. He's going to be exiting there with 3/4 of a tank that's under 3/4. So he heads out. Captain Slow having a fantastic race. But what an incredible battle we're seeing right the way through the field. It's only Levidius who has really kind of managed to nip away while everyone else is battling. And Deacon, of course, and Wolfie are all in this battle too. But wow, this is turning out to be quite a race. And we've got from third place Wolfie right the way through. It's fantastic. We just have to think what's going to happen next, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, right, I mean, obviously really exciting for us in commentary, for the viewers watching at home as well, but I kind of feel a little bit like it's a little bit careless of the drivers fighting, because all you've done is let Levitis just peel away and secure what could be a very easy race win for him. 13 seconds is the gap from him to Deacon, who decides to come into the pits as well from P2. So Wolfie, of course, put in the extra fuel then, as we had Vars Vartovis come into the pits from P4 and JDJ in P5. So Wolfie is the provisional leader at the moment with 11 laps to go there. He's on them very worn medium tyres with just under a quarter of a tank, so I think Wolfie might have to get on the hard tyres for the next stint. Levitius meanwhile 8 seconds down the road then, having made his pit stop already on the racing medium tyres with just under 3/4 of a tank. Deacon comes out in P3 then, and yes, similar fuel and tyres of course, with Richard 2.2 seconds down on him now in P4, similar fuel and slightly more worn tyres than him with Papaya Racer with a little bit less fuel. And we got JDJ side by side with Galava, but Galava comes through in P6, JDJ in P7 with Captain Slow looking to size up an opportunity now as he hangs it around the outside of JDJ. Is he going to have the inside line and take that position away from JDJ and move himself up into P7 then? JDJ, of course, is going to have that slipstream though, so Captain Slow, I would imagine, will get heavily on the defensive here as we approach the Dunlop corner of the sharp hairpin, as I hate that camera view. I can't say what's going on. Yeah, it looks like JDJ's gone wide. So Vars Vartovis up the inside with Puma Racing Neil as well, and he's lost out on 3 positions again. Let's have a quick look and see what happened there. But the camera view really didn't help me out there. I couldn't see what happened there. So, he just locked up the brakes, I think, and went slightly deep. And yeah, that's an unusual place really to lose traction and not get on the ideal racing line. So yeah, he's going to have to watch out. Although just to flick down the grid quickly, guys, P11 we've got Puma Racing Mac holding that last elusive position to remain in tier 1 once the race is done. So Whipperman, Joker and Kennels are in the drop zone, and they've all made their no, Whipperman hasn't made his pit stop. He's going to have to take a pit stop soon, so Whipperman could be down into tier 2 next week again, which is not good for him. But Puma Racing Mac, yeah, looking like he's in a very, very good position. So let's look back on board then. So Levitis is starting to close that gap on Wolfie. It was 8 seconds last time we looked, but it's 5 seconds now, as Wolfie, I don't know if he's doing a little bit of fuel saving at present, but certainly them racing medium tyres looking worse for wear. That gap is tumbling. So I'd imagine Wolfie will be coming into the pits very, very shortly. So Levitis is going to have a comfortable lead once Wolfie comes in. He has a 13.7 second lead over Deacon, who is provisionally P3 at the moment. The gap is exactly the same from last time out, 2.5 seconds between Deacon and Richard for P3 and P4. Papaya Racer, there's a 3-second gap. So things are starting to calm down between the top 5, but certainly not calming down for the top 6 position, because Captain Slow gets a little bit wiggly out of the final turn, and Galara being just behind him with teammate. Oh, he's got half a second penalty though. So Vars Vartafis is going to, well, he's not going to serve it on this lap, it'll be the next lap. But certainly Vars Vartafis being very close to the back of him should, or maybe make the move. Maybe Galara will let him through. Or is he? No, he's going to defend heavily, because there's Puma Racing Neil. Where did he come from? Puma Racing Neil up the inside and moves himself up into P7. What a fantastic move, and very, very sneaky from Neil.
That's brilliant. And now he's not far from Captain Slow. Neil has really proven himself tonight, coming through the field. Really is one of his best performances yet. And with Galara having that half-second penalty, he's going to be really struggling. And we are seeing changes. Oh, Captain Slow was very, very wide. We're going to watch the get a penalty going too wide out of that corner there. But what a race this is turning out to be. Of course, Galara will take that penalty as they come on the start-finish straight. How many places is he going to lose? But we've still got Deacon and Richard and Papaya Racer for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Levidius in 2nd. All these battles coming around, and lots of things happening in the last few laps of the race. And here we are with Captain Slow and Puma Racing Neil. We're absolutely driving his heart out to see how high up the grid he can get here and secure a great performance going into the final races before the tiers are closed. And there goes TNR Captain Slow with Puma Racing Neil in the slipstream, just about in the slipstream behind him, and they're coming through. And Richard has come into the pits for his pit stop, and here they come. It's Captain Slow out in front in 6th place, and Puma Racing Neil in 7th. It's coming closer and closer and closer as they come to turn 1. Puma goes around the outside. Can he manage to get through? Oh, it's close, but Captain Slow just manages to hold him off as he comes around.
Oh, he's going to go around the outside. There's Captain Slow clobbered the curb there and got very unstable on the exit. So Puma Racing Neil up into P6. Captain Slow in the P7 with Vars Vartafis hounding him down right now as we go through 100R. Vars Vartafis. Jesus Christ, this is absolutely crazy as we got Galara in P9 with JDJ just behind him as well. Not too far behind. 1.3 seconds is the gap between this trio of cars and Galara then. So it looks like Captain Slow looking very competitive, but Neil is going to defend that inside line, but all that's going to do is slow down the pack behind, so any one of about 5 drivers could come through to try and challenge P6. So it's very, very difficult one to call right now, but what that has enabled then as VSR Wolfie came out of the pits on the last lap then, just in front of Puma Racing Neil, but with all that battling has started to pull away, and with a bit of a gap now to Puma Racing Neil in P6. But Captain Slow in a great position now to reclaim a P6 as I struggle to get my words, as I don't think I've ever spoken so quickly, but Neil has got the inside line, and Captain Slow is going to go around the outside now. And hopefully he's got three abreast actually, as Varsavis with a sneaky move on Puma Racing Neil down the inside, call Neil unaware and move up a position into P6, now trying to in fact gets in front of Captain Slow. What the hell? How did that happen?
He just went a bit wide on turn 1, and this lefty must have got his braking a bit too late, and if you go wide then it's an open door, and Captain Slow and Varsavis manages to get through, but it's very, very close. Look at that, there's Puma Racing as well, and Galara is also in this battle, and we've got, my goodness, we've got Captain Slow in there as well. They're all, it's 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th as they come down the corner. Vars Varsavis is just about there, but Captain Slow is trying to go through on the inside. Will he manage it just? Oh no, Vars Varsavis manages to keep that position. Oh, they're all going wide as they go through the chicane, and now Captain Slow is kind of holding them up. We've got Puma Racing Neil right behind in 8th place, and then we've got Galara right behind him coming through the final sector of the lap, and we've got that Vars Varsavis has managed to pull away slightly, but there is Captain Slow and Puma Racing Neil and Galara Brown just behind them as they go onto the straight. It's been a bit scrappy, but my goodness me, it's a great race to behold.
It is indeed, yeah. Really struggling to get on board of the drivers and try to anticipate when they're going for the moves and when they're defending, but yeah, this is very difficult because it's a dog versus dog fight, isn't it? I think, or dog eat dog, as they say. So yeah, Captain Slow moves up into P7, then up the inside of Puma Racing Neil then, as he's gone from P6 to P8 in a couple of laps then, and yeah, it's just absolutely insane, Hugh, as we've got Galara now into the fight in P9 then, looking to sweep up. And I do know that Galara is a very strategic driver. He's not one to make false ends. He's very clever in the way that he positions his car, and certainly on strategy as well. But yeah, Captain Slow really doing his best to try and hold off Neil as we try to fight to get the right angle from the GT7 camera angles here. But yeah, Captain Slow with a bit of a wiggle out of the exit, who's under immense pressure from Racing Neil, with Galara also trying to put Neil under pressure, but yeah, certainly JDJ, who probably felt that his race had gone from bad to worse, certainly still in this fight as the three drivers in front squabble away, fighting for that 7th position, Hugh.
Wow, it is something else to watch. 7th, 8th and 9th, so close. When there's, I mean, for the championship as well, this is incredible because there's really nothing between them. We're seeing such a great battle between these professional drivers, giving it their absolute best. And there's fractions in it. We're getting lots of overtakes. Galara Brown tries to go in front of Puma Racing, but they're side by side as they come out of turn 1, and Captain Slow is steadily in front of them. But as they come through, it's Captain Slow, then Puma Racing Neil, then Galara Brown coming into the left-hander. Nothing in it at all. 1, 2, 3, as you see, are in 7th, 8th and 9th in terms of position. They come through the long right-hander. There's nothing in it, as it looks a bit cloudy up there, and it looks like it's getting a bit darker, but that surely won't affect them now, and they're still got enough fuel to finish. Their tyres are in good order, and there they go out of the left-hander. As fast as that, there's nothing in it, just a couple of tenths between Captain Slow, Puma Racing and Galara Brown. And all this battling means as well that JDG is not far away, and he's in an exciting race as well. He's been all over the place, up and down that grid, but now he finds himself in 10th place. But here we are with Captain Slow and Puma Racing Neil right behind him, along with Galara Brown. My goodness, they come into the left-hander, plenty of curve taken there, sparks flying, and flashes from the exhaust as they come into the left-hander and then into the final right-hand bend. They've got to get that right so they can get a good exit, because look how close it is. There's just fractions in it. Oh, and Puma Racing Neil was a little bit wide there, but he's still in the slipstream of Captain Slow. And but Galara Brown is right behind him. These are 7th, 8th and 9th as they go along the start-finish straight. It's certainly getting darker, but my goodness, it may be getting towards evening. But what a race we are seeing here tonight, Sean.
And we've got a battle for P4 as well, with VSR Wolfie trying to hold off Papaya Racer. So it's all going off right now throughout the grid. But yeah, certainly the closest battle right now is Captain Slow trying to hold on for survival here in P7 then, ahead of Puma Racing Neil and Galara in P9, and JDJ, who perhaps felt that he probably shouldn't be in this battle, but is hanging on to this battle right now on the harder of the compounds, hoping that maybe there'll be some sort of accident in front, but of course we don't wish for that, but certainly it could all happen. There's Galara, goes up the inside and takes 2 for 1, but he goes too deep, and in fact he loses a position in the end to JDJ. So big error from Galara as he mistimed his brakes. And let's have a look on the onboard from Galara then. Yeah, he went too deep, so a little bit too ambitious from Galara, and yeah, I got excited over nothing actually. But certainly we still got a battle going on between Captain Slow and Neil then for the fight for P7. JDJ will be getting pulled along though down the straight, so we'll see what happens, what is the last 3 laps of the race, Hugh, their medium tyres are starting to tail off now. So this is where JDJ should start coming into the fight here, because he's on them fresher hard tyres. So the tyres will be roughly the same in terms of lap times, but I've just not had the opportunity to really look at the lap times, Hugh, because there's been so much going off in this race that we just haven't had time to think.
Yeah, it's incredibly close right the way through. They're absolutely going for it. And it takes real strength here, because to be able to concentrate this long, and it's so tight, one little mistake and you're down to 10th or 11th. But these guys are absolutely flying. There's Captain Slow holding off huge pressure from Puma Racing Neil, who's desperate to get past. He's going to try maybe a move as they come braking for the right-hander, and I've got JDG is just behind, as you say, on the slightly better tyres, and they come through the chicane, and the S's coming into the right-hand bend there, and we've got to watch the curve, because the car, especially as you go over the kind of the top of the hill there, it can really make the car difficult to handle. And this left-hander as well, it's off camber, the cars can easily lose traction, but there they go, and you can see the brakes glowing as they come into the final bend. But Captain Slow takes his line as he goes onto the start-finish straight, with Puma Racing Neil right behind.
Yeah, and he went a little bit squirrely as well on the exit. Did well to regather the car there, but that would have lost him time. And here's Puma Racing Neil, then firmly in that slipstream now, as Captain Slow takes the inside line and goes very, very narrow. What Captain Slow may want to do is just weave out to Neil, so he can't make the cutback. But Neil sweeps down the on the outside to get the overspeed and move up into P7. So Captain Slow down is P8 and JDJ in P9. So JDJ now just 0.3 of a second down on Captain Slow, and maybe JDJ is eyeing up an opportunity here, maybe thinking, do you know what, I can grab another 2 more positions at least here. But yeah, certainly now putting Captain Slow under all pressure right now, and he would have not experienced this kind of pressure in the SMA so far. Of course, won back-to-back promotions last time out, and he looked very comfortable in his race before, but this is going to be a test of character now for Captain Slow, as he hopes to try to keep the pressure up on Neil, but also to hold off JDJ in P9. But as we go through sector 3 now, through this twisty section, the medium tyres will be crying for dear life, and JDJ looking maybe a little bit more comfortable now on the lesser tyre wear on the hard tyres. As we come out the final corner at Panasonic, JDJ will be now looking to suck up all that slipstream, but Captain Slow, he's going to have that slipstream over Racing Neil. We are going to have to look on the race leaders very, very shortly, because we are entering the final lap. But can Puma Racing Neil get the move done on Captain Slow? It will be around the outside, or maybe the old switcheroo, but no, Captain Slow covers off that move there. So I think, Hugh, I'm probably going to have to look on board with the race leader, because we've barely mentioned it, but just to quickly show you that Richard is 1.4 seconds ahead of Wolfie in P4. P5 is Papaya Racer and Vast Artifice in P6. But yes, let's get on board with Levitius, because we are in sector 3 now. So it's been a pretty much faultless race from start to finish. He had a close encounter with his teammate Deacon, but he's never looked back ever since he made the overtake on his teammate Deacon. So he's going to come across the checkered line to claim that checkered flag to win round 5 at Fuji International Speedway in the SMA GT500 Championship. 17.5 seconds over Deacon, who, I would imagine after the battling he did with JDJ, probably happy to get P2 in the end. So good performance from Deacon, but VSR Richard will get the last step on the podium ahead of his teammate VSR Wolfie, with Papaya Racer claiming P5 and VSR Vars Vartavis in P6. Captain Slow looks like he's got the one up on Puma Racing Neil, as he claims an excellent P7 with Puma Racing Neil P8, and Galava just ahead of his teammate JDJ in P10, and it's going to be Puma Racing Mac to secure that final position in Tier 1 for next next week then, as we've got Puma, the Joker, who made that back-to-back promotions from Tier 3. He's going to get relegated into Tier 2 in what will be the last week of the promotion and relegation battle ahead of the tier lockdown. So Whipperman will also find himself down into Tier 2 with Kennels as well. So sad to see, really, but his Tier 1 journey has come to an end for Kennels. What a absolutely insane race that was, Hugh. I'm absolutely speechless. I mean, I thought racing couldn't get any better in the previous rounds, but today has absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, it's been an incredible race. I mean, just the times, Levitius doing an amazing race and kind of seeing off into the distance. But Deacon in second place, Richard in third, Wolf in fourth. But what, incredible driving from Captain Slow, Puma Racing Neil, Vars Vartavis, Papaya Racer. They've all kept us going for the whole 50 minutes. We've been struggling to not miss anything because, my goodness, there's been so many battles right the way through. But great driving, and what a race result as it gets closer to the tiers being closed with this one race next week. But that was the final race of the 2008 cars. But what an incredible race we've had tonight, and really all credit to the drivers. A brilliant job, and I hope many of them are happy. I know the three at the end will be maybe rather wondering what happened, but my goodness, it's been a fantastic race to watch.
Yes, indeed, and a fantastic way to round off the 2008 Group 2 series with the random event coming up next week. So yeah, they definitely put on a show for us, and yeah, we've definitely got a lot to talk about in the interviews, that's for sure, because if the top three drivers can ready themselves up in the waiting room of the SMA Discord, so that is Levitius, Deacon and VSR Richard, and we'll quickly read out the racer results, and then we'll get the thoughts of the top three drivers. So Levitius confirmed as the race winner, getting his third race win of the season, ahead of his teammate Deacon, who grabbed an excellent P2 for him. P3 went to VSR Richard, which actually secured a podium of GTR cars, actually, which quite surprised with, but yeah, excellent performance from VSR Richard as he took full advantage of all the battling that came about, with VSR Wolfie finishing in P4 with the fastest lap of the race as well, 1 minute 31.246, ahead of Papaya Racer in P5. Then in P6 we had Vars Vartavis, P7 we had TNR's Captain Not So Slow, and then we had Puma Racing Deal in P8. P9 went to VSR Galava Bryn, P10 went to VSR JDJ, P11 went to Puma Racing Mac, P12 went to Puma the Joker, and Whipperman and Kennels to round up the bottom three to get relegated into Tier 2, unfortunately, for next week. So yeah, Hugh, if we can get ourselves into the waiting room, and we'll go and interview VSR Richard first. So hold on 1 second, let me just change that. Okay,
I can hear you.
Oh, Richard, if you can join the waiting room, because I do believe we've got a couple of drivers that are on the PS5, and
Okay.
yeah, won't be able to join us, unfortunately. Thank you, Richard.
Okay.
And here's Sean.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Right, okay, I am waiting for VSR Richard. I think he's there. Yes, there he is.
Yes.
So, Richard, this is the first time we get to speak to you, so welcome to the interview room, and congratulations on your third position. How do you feel after that?
Oh, thank you very much. No, at last. It took me almost half a season to be on the podium. I had a bit of misfortune in the first couple of races, but nonetheless, very, very happy with P3 today.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance from you. Do you think it was more down to strategy, or do you think it was to do with all the battling that was going on in front of you that kind of put you in that better position to get that podium position?
It's almost like golf. The more you play, the luckier you get. I won't say my pace was too off. I know Levitius and Dicky is in exceptional level. But yes, definitely the luck swing in my way with the battles up ahead. I'm not sure what happened there, but definitely I know the guys did battle there, and unfortunate for Chas also having penalties towards the end of the race that cost him the position. It would have been difficult to overtake him during the race with these cars with the downforce. Yeah, so definitely a bit of luck on my side, but I'll take it.
Well, that's it. You've got to be in it to win it, as they say. So, yeah, no, it was a very, very good performance from you, Richard. It's good to have you in the interview room. Hugh, have you got any questions for our third place finisher?
Yeah, congratulations, Richard. It's great to have you on the podium. And what was in terms of what were the cars like to drive in terms of the high tyre wear and fuel wear? Was it quite a challenge? How did you find all of that?
Yeah, for me it's definitely a challenge. I'm known to be a little bit harsh on the tires compared to some of the fast oaks out there. So definitely the GTR tire wear is a bit harsher than the Honda. So a stiff, soft stint wouldn't have worked for me at all. That's why Wolfie and some of my teammates in the VSR team did the soft strat as well. So it worked actually out lekker for them. And just want to say congratulations to Levy and Dicky for a very good race.
Fantastic. Well done. A well-deserved third place.
Thank you.
Over to you, Sean. Will we get Deacon in second place?
Oh, sorry, my microphone was muted there. I do apologise. Are you still there, Richard? There is maybe one question I can ask.
I'm still here.
Awesome. So, Richard, we was kind of expecting the Hondas to be actually a little bit stronger in this race, or as I was informed by a couple of drivers because of that straight line top speed. So was you surprised that the GTR was pretty strong today?
I think the cars were very matched evenly at the end of the day. I know that JD in the Honda was flying. He also did 30.9s, 30.8s like Levi in the quali session. He just unfortunately couldn't get a good lap in the qualifying session, which placed him under pressure on the grid. Otherwise, I believe he would have been there. I would say, to answer your question, I think the cars were evenly matched on speed and lap times. It's just the tire wear I believe on the Nissan was slightly more heavier than on the Honda.
Okay. And speaking of future races then, so obviously this has ended the 2008 series, so we don't know about the race next week unless you've got some hidden information, but I mean, firstly, are you looking forward to next week's race, and is there a particular car that you're hoping it's going to be?
At this stage, to be honest with you, I have no idea. Renier, that is part of the admin, is very secretive when it comes to that. So to not give us a advantage over the other teams and drivers. So at this stage, I've got no idea which track. I've got no idea, but I'm looking forward to the surprise. I think it's going to be revealed, I believe, early tomorrow or Friday or the weekend. So we will see.
Okay, and lastly as well, Richard, so obviously we've got the 2016 cars coming from round 7. So I'm not actually aware of how much the BOP has changed in recent months. So tell us about the performance of the GTR 2016 cars. Is it a strong car to use?
To be honest with you, I think personally, I think the Honda's going to have a slight advantage over the Nissan. When it comes to tire wear on the long races. We did a couple of laps with my teammates, and the Honda was flying. But yeah, you've got the car that you choose for the beginning of the season, and I'm looking forward to see what lap times Levi and Dickie can pull out with the Nissan to try to compare myself with that. But yeah, I think personally, I think the Honda does have a slight advantage on lap times and tire wear compared to the Nissan.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts. Yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing how you get on next week, and obviously fingers crossed as well, because this will be the final round in the so-called like elimination round, isn't it, with the promotion and relegation? So yeah, good luck in your race next week, and hopefully it's a car and track that you like, and obviously congratulations on today.
Thank you so much, and I just want to say to you guys when commentating, you do an excellent job. Afterwards, I normally look at the streams or the following day, and I must say you guys are very professional. So thank you very much for putting us up there and commentating in the way you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's too nice, isn't it, Hugh?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Richard. So yes, second position then was Deacon then, and not for the first time, I have to say either. Deacon, congratulations on second position. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, thank you. Now I'm feeling quite underwhelmed, I'd say, compared to the previous races. It was much more, I'd say, more intense. So yeah, no, I'm all cool after that race.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Deacon, obviously there was a lot of battling between yourself and JDJ. There was a few questionable manoeuvres, let's just say. Yeah, obviously, we know, obviously, you've got quite a close challenge with your teammate Levitius at the top of the championship. So was it very frustrating to be involved in a race battle and not, just, with Levitius pulling away? Was it very frustrating for you not to kind of like maybe even like work as a team to sort of stay close to Levitius?
Yeah, no, definitely it was quite frustrating. But that's racing, I guess. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So you have to make sure I do a better job in the following races.
Well, I was going to ask then, so following on from what Richard said then, so obviously next week is a random car and a random track. So is there a certain combination that you're hoping for? I mean, obviously there's so many cars to pick from. Do you kind of like prefer like the group cars over the road cars, for example?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely the group cars are a lot easier to predict compared to the road cars. But then again, the road cars would be, I would say, more challenging and more fun to drive. So if I had to pick, I'd probably go with the road cars.
Awesome. Great to hear. Hugh, any questions for Deacon?
Yeah, congratulations, Deacon, on a well-deserved second place. I mean, it was pretty frantic at the start, and it was that battling that kind of cost you a chance of getting to race against Levitius. But how did you find again the tyre wear and the fuel? Richard was saying it was quite a challenge. Did you find that the strategy was really key today, or do you think maybe too much time was lost in battling?
Yeah, no, for sure. Strategy played a big part in this race. Even like before the race, I was contemplating on actually starting on the soft tire to get an early gap. But then my teammates said it's not a good idea. So I listened to them, and I think it was probably the better decision to just run the hards in the medium tires. But yeah, no, tire weight definitely played a role in the race, especially your front left, especially with those long left-hand corners, and obviously, if you're battling with someone, it obviously eats into your tires a lot more than what it would be if you weren't battling with anyone. So, yeah, no, definitely tire wear was definitely, well, it played a big role in this race.
And how are you looking at your championship chances now as we come towards the midway point? Are you quite optimistic that you can keep up the pressure and not let Levitius drive away? Are you thinking the following races it will be even closer?
I know for sure. I think one of my lackluster points in this tournament so far has been my qualifying. I think my qualifying needs to improve, although I did start second this race. But obviously, if you're starting further ahead, it's always better. So yeah, definitely, my qualifying, I need to sort that out. Yeah.
Well done on a fantastic race and a well-deserved second place. And we look forward to seeing you next week and see how the race goes.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, congratulations, Deacon. And yeah, you've certainly kept us on the edge of our seats. So we thank you for that and look forward to seeing how you get on next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deacon. Okay, so well, it's time to interview our race winner. Is his third race win of the season. Levitius, how are you feeling after this round?
To be honest, I don't even know what to say. The race was quite it's a cluster. Let's just say that so much was going on, so much battling, interesting moves. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless, really.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Lev, so obviously you was having a big old sort of like ding-dong battle between sort of like Deacon and JDJ. And yeah, to be honest, Lev, like obviously because there was so much action going on in the race, we was really struggling to keep up with all the race action. But it was only until a little bit later that I've realised that you actually started on the hard tyres, and I think it was JDJ that was on the medium tyres. But yet you were still able to sort of hold him off and sort of defend the inside line and make it as awkward as possible for him. So was you like very happy with your performance today?
To be honest with you, everything that I planned, the thing is, I expected this to happen. The fastest strategy was to be starting the hard tires because we had the limited fuel at the beginning of the race. Yeah, my strategy was, the reason we wanted to start on hards is that we had track position and we knew that there was going to be at least one driver from the other team to start on a faster compound. And basically our goal was to try and help each other stay as close as possible, even ahead of them, because it was key just to try and create a little like tire delta. So I knew if we really got the hard tires out the way that we were going to have the faster tire for the rest of the race. And I was only 0.7 of a second after the 9 laps on the hards, which was amazing. It was the perfect dream start. So I could undercut him straight away. And yeah, the rest was quite straightforward. It was unfortunate though, because Deaky was about 2.5 seconds behind me after the round of pit stops, and yeah, I was looking forward to have a great battle with him. But maybe in our 2016 cars we can do that, to make a bit of a great show at the front.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Lev, so perhaps you would have missed it then, but obviously getting a fair idea what was happening behind you, but there was. It was quite manic, to say the least. There was a good cluster of about 4 or 5 cars battling for that second position for quite a number of laps, and obviously me and Hugh just noticed how much that gap between yourself and whoever was in P2 just extends so much in just a few laps. It really shows you how much time is lost when you're battling away and going side by side into corners and stuff. But yeah, Lev, obviously you still had a job to do. You, even though it might have been a little bit more comfortable for you, you still had to keep it on track. You still had to go by the strategy, and yeah, I have to say, Lev, it was a pretty much faultless race, and you certainly never looked back.
Indeed, I did have a little Larry moment when we were battling JDJ, but overall it's pretty good. Yeah, just try to keep my car from getting any damage. That was the priority, because this heavy damage is quite harsh in Gran Turismo 7, and yeah, overall I'm very happy. Bring on the 2016 cars. We're going to have some difficult moments at certain tracks going into the next part of the season. And overall, I'm looking forward to the 2016 GTR has got the quali pace. It's the race pace and the tire wear that's the little suspect issue. But we'll tackle it when it comes. Yeah.
Hugh, have you got any questions for our race winner?
Yes, I was going to say a fantastic race. Well done for really being able to pull away and drive to a great performance to win tonight. On a quick question there for next week, it's going to be a random car combination. Are you looking forward to what could be? Well, we just don't know what car it's going to be. Do you have any ideas what you would like it to be? What would be your kind of preference if you could choose?
To be honest with you, give me like a street circuit, maybe Tokyo or Bathurst, and honestly, I've driven so many cars in this game that I'm quite comfortable with adapting quite quickly, and I would look forward to basically anything.
Yeah. And did you feel that when you were driving away tonight and you had a good gap by the end, 17.5 seconds, did it feel like the pressure was off slightly, or did you still think anything can happen? So I better be on my toes here.
No, I never want to slow down, and honestly, if you try and slow down and like relax, you usually make more mistakes. So I'm always sticking to my delta, trying to be consistent as possible, and just manage the tires. I never want to relax because that's when the errors can creep in.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well done for a great victory tonight, and it's great for your championship hopes as well. You'll be extending your lead, but we look forward to seeing you next week in this surprise combination. But well done, a well-deserved victory.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and congratulations to Deaky and Richard.
And Lev, you didn't do what you said you was going to do earlier on about slowing down and giving a chance for the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, man.
Can we expect any manoeuvres like that in the future, or is it just plough on and try to grab this championship by the neck?
Yeah, I'm probably going to stick to what I'm doing right now until if it's mathematically impossible to win the championship for P2. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and just keep chugging along. Yeah.
Good to hear, Lev, and congratulations today, third win of the season. So extending that lead at the top of the championship. Look forward to seeing how you get on, whatever the track and whatever the car it turns out to be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lev. Okay, right. So that rounds up the top three thoughts on today's event. There's so much to talk about. Remember, guys, if you did enjoy the race, whether watching it live or you're watching it from the recording, please do hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We are trying to chase down 150 subscribers, and we're getting quite close to it. So any support will be much, much appreciated. I guess we do need to, I was going to say do need to look for what's coming up, but obviously we just kind of said that it's all kind of like random, and we've got no information. But
anything.
It literally could be anything. But have we got anyone in chat, or maybe like Robin, who can kind of tell us whether or not when the drivers actually get this information and when the actual roulette actually happens?
Yeah, that would be sad. I'm looking at the pictures here on my Gran Turismo 7 screen, and of course with the last update they brought in the Unimog, the kind of military type vehicle, and let's hope it's not the Unimog at the Nordschleifer, otherwise it might be a very long race. But they've got lots of fantastic combinations. They've got the new Peugeot 205 GTI that was recently brought in, and lots and lots of GT3 and GT4 cars and lots of other things. So yeah, there's so many cars they can choose from, but I'm sure they'll have a great combination. Very much looking forward to next week to see exactly what happens, and hopefully we'll find out midweek or later on as to exactly what it's going to be.
Yes, indeed. So, the best place I'd imagine then is to check out the SMA Discord for all the race details on round 6. I do actually wonder whether or not the in each of the tiers, whether or not they'll have a different race car and track combo, or it will be the same combo for the whole of the 6 tiers. But yeah, certainly is going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure Levitius will be hoping for the cappuccinos at Road Atlanta or something like that, because I know he was a bit of a fan of that, and he got his best result in the GTWS. But yeah, it literally could be anything. It could be the Unimogs, it could be the Tomahawks, it could be it literally could vary to every extreme. But yeah, certainly make sure that you do tune in next week on the Sim Motorsport Association YouTube channel on Monday the 17th of March at 8:45 p.m. That is Eastern Africa time, to see how that plays out. But have we got confirmation in chat on from Robin? Just let me just quickly get on board. I don't think he's here, so yeah, just look out for it on the Discord, and I'm sure we'll get the details before the weekend or something. But yeah. So yeah, and that obviously gets onto my point then. So make sure that you do subscribe to the channel, hit that like button as well. And Sim Motorsport Association is across many platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, obviously Discord we just mentioned, and we will be coming to Twitch soon as well. But at the moment, all our content goes onto YouTube. There is also one other thing to talk about, and that is the Quali Kings Championship. So for those that don't know exactly what Quali Kings is, so it's basically a time trial event for the daily races. So we have, like, as far as I know, we have got like splits or tiers of drivers that compete on a weekly basis. So for those that, you know, maybe watching this for the first time, or would like to get involved, that hasn't got involved thus far, you know, it's a great way to kind of interact with the SMA community, and I'm sure they'll be happy to give tips on certain race combos and tracks, etc. And it'll be interesting to see where you rank amongst all of the South Africa drivers on a weekly basis. So definitely check out the SMA Discord and get yourself involved. And lastly as well, so the e-license that we mentioned earlier on in the program, so you've got this excellent opportunity to get your pro license and get your racing colours as well. I mean, certainly I kind of wish I was in South Africa to try and earn the green jacket, but this is a pro license that gets you involved in many regional and international events that will be going to be played out throughout 2025 and the years beyond, and it's certainly at a very, very cheap price as well. And yeah, certainly you don't really get many of these opportunities. So if you want to compete in the up and coming MSA Cup Championship that's going to be happening in May, make sure you sign up for this e-license, and if you need any more race details, if you need any more details on how to acquire the license, make sure you go on the SMA Discord, and failing that, speak to Robin as well, who's head of SMA, and he can point you in the right direction. Okay, so yeah, Hugh, I don't know what to say really. I'm still I haven't got over the race. I literally haven't got over the race. It's been crazy.
You did very well pronouncing all of the names as quickly as you could, because that's how many overtakes there were and how many battles, the suspense of would the cars go for it, would the drivers manage to pull off a great move, and there were quite a few really good moves, but it was just great to watch and great to commentate on. It really is a great series. The drivers are showing their prowess, they're showing that their ability to concentrate and really pull off great moves and give us a very exciting race. And next week is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to this unknown combination. So as soon as we find out, we'll have to let everybody know and put all the links in so we can get as many people watching as possible. But thanks to everyone who's been watching. At one point, I noticed we're up to 42 watching on the live stream, which is excellent. So let's hope we can get that growing even further, because this is a great championship to be part of, and it's great for South Africa. They've got fantastic drivers, and let's see more of it. Thoroughly looking forward to next week. And thanks again, Sean. It's been a pleasure to commentate with you tonight.
Yeah, 100% agree, Hugh. Yeah, I don't think I'll sleep a wink, to be honest, Hugh, because I'm definitely going to be looking over this race, and of course I do normally make highlights of the race, but I would imagine, though, to be honest, the whole broadcast would be a highlight, because literally it was from start to finish, wasn't it? I mean, I've never seen a race like it, to be honest. It's I'm sure there's probably a lot of action that we missed out on as well, Hugh, because it was just literally impossible to take our eyes off of, 2 or even like 3 battles just going, lap after lap after lap. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I literally can't wait for next week, because this is going to be a little bit unknown for the drivers, where they're probably not going to be able to get the actual practice, because I know they put a lot of practice in, Hugh. They literally spend most days of the week practicing the combos, but depending on when they actually get the information, I would imagine they're not going to have too much time. And then, of course, it could be a particular car that's alien to them as well, particularly if it is a road car, which is not really featured on like the daily races, and maybe only on, say, the Nations Cup or something. So yes, it's certainly going to be interesting, and really can't wait for it.
Is it a road car only, or is it a race car, or is it?
Well, we don't know. It literally could be anything. It literally could be go-karts. It could be any road car, and. Sorry?
The new Formula One car that they've got, the new Formula One that they introduced a couple of months ago, or about 6 weeks ago. That is a real tough car to drive.
Is it the F1300 or something?
Yeah,
something like that.
3,500, with the V10 engine. I mean, it's a great car to drive, but it's really tough. It's easy to spin off with it. They had it on Monza for a time trial not so long ago. But anything like that, it could be a real handful, but make for a great race. And of course, they've got all these tracks that they can choose from. It's going to be very exciting, and really just can't wait to see where it's going to be.
Yes, indeed. And it'd be interesting to see whether or not we get to see some sort of Formula races from yourself, Hugh, because I know that you've been on your YouTube channel. You've been getting involved with the Super Formulas and all that.
I did race A.
You did race A.
I did
okay.
Lots of race A. Yeah, race A last week, which was great fun. I really enjoyed that. I'm hoping to be streaming again tomorrow. So we'll do the daily races. I think Bathurst stands out as one I would quite like to do. Enjoying the world of Gran Turismo, and trying to get my head around the cars, trying to get a bit faster, hanging on to my A-rated driver status just by the skin of my teeth, as I would say. But it's great fun. It's a fantastic game, and it's great to see it being used so well by all the drivers there from South Africa in this championship tonight. It's enthralling, and as you say, with so many different groups of cars that were so close, we didn't know what to say. We were kind of just hoping, because we didn't know if they would go for it or not at particular corners. So it's been great, and hopefully we'll have plenty more of that in the coming series. And it's the drivers are well spirited. It's professional. It's pretty clean overall. It continues to grow, and it's great to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely, Hugh. Absolutely. And guys, if you do want to check out Hugh, he is on YouTube. Hugh Hattrick, just as his logo suggests there. Hugh Hattrick in that spelling. Go and check him out on YouTube to get involved and watch all his frolics in these mad cars. It'll be interesting to see you, Hugh, and make sure you do support him and grow his channel as well. And
I appreciate that.
No worries, Hugh. Always happy to help us. And of course, guys, I'm on Twitch, and I know a lot of people do tend to stick to YouTube. But if you are on Twitch, I'm also a streamer. I'm Flawed Genius Gaming. So any support towards me would be much appreciated. I am an A+ driver on GT7. Although I don't race as much as I used to, but now and then I do make an appearance and get to race the likes of Levitius and a few YouTubers like Subi GT and Tidgney and Eries and that kind of folk. So yeah. If you do want to check me out, it will be much appreciated if you did hit that follow button for me. But yeah, that really wraps up today then, Hugh. It's as I say, like it's certainly been one to remember. And thank you so much for joining me today. Your commentary, as always, was on point. And look forward to speaking with you next week.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sean. It's been an absolute pleasure.
So it was Levitius then who reigned supreme in the final round of the 2008 Group 2 series. Will it be more dominance from him, or can someone reign on his parade? Well, definitely tune in next week, same place, same time, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Africa time on Monday, the 17th of March, where we will learn exactly what track and car combo the Tier 1 drivers will be faced with. But until then, it's a good night from Hugh.
Good night.
And it's a good night for me. Stay safe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.